Chapter 3601. Yiqing Luo raised her wrist. Her 5 fingers spread open and covered her eyes. Her rosy red lips curled into a shallow arc. Ah Sheng, don't miss the chance to be with your beloved. Zishi took the initiative to take the first step. If you have the same feelings for her, you should bring out a man's spirit and take the remaining 99 steps. Her voice sounded a little blurred. Don't wait until Zishi really leaves you, then you will regret it. Pei Sheng looked at her in a daze. Ah Luo, are you thinking of your fiancé? Yiqing Luo's smile grew wider. But her eyes were covered by her hand. He couldn't tell what expression was on her face. Pei Sheng felt that. Ah Luo seemed to be smiling. But that bitter feeling was absolutely not a smile. What happened to Ah Luo in the array to suddenly become like this? Yes, I want to be by his side. Yiqing Luo took a deep breath, and when she removed her hand, the expression on her face had already reverted to its previous bright and flamboyant look. So you should cherish the time you have with Zishi even more. To have a lady who loves you so much to accompany you, it's your fortune. Pei Sheng lowered his eyes and looked at the person in his arms. He pursed his lips and didn't speak for a long time. Yiqing Luo didn't continue to speak, but with a smile on her face, she looked at a certain place in the forest behind her, as if she was looking at someone through the dense forest. After a long moment of silence, hurried footsteps were heard from afar. Following that were a few anxious and worried voices from afar. I heard their voices, it's coming from this side. There's a cultivator's aura in front, could it be them? Zishi. Along with the noise came the sound. Not far away, more than 10 people from the blood mercenary group were rushing over here. The moment Assistant Leader Bo saw Pei Sheng, he immediately unleashed his profound energy and rushed to Pei Sheng. Zishi. Assistant Leader Bo stretched out his hand to snatch Gu Zishi from Tsong Pei Sheng's arms. Pei Sheng hugged Gu Zishi and took a step back, avoiding Assistant Leader Bo's hands. Vice Commander Bo was stunned. He raised his head and looked at Pei Sheng anxiously. Su Qingbing coughed softly. Songyi, that's Zishi's brother. You're a man. There's a difference between men and women. Only then did Deputy Regiment Commander Bo react. He didn't insist on hugging Gu Zishi anymore. Instead, he asked Pei Sheng worriedly, what happened to Zishi? Why is she unconscious? For some unknown reason, Pei Sheng felt that the word brother from Su Qingbing was extremely piercing to his ears. Especially when Deputy Regiment Commander Bo reached out to hug Gu Zishi when he saw her, it made him even angrier. Could it be, previously when Zishi was with the bloody mercenary group in the West Cliff Mountain, were they used to hugging each other? What happened to Zishi? Say something. Seeing that Pei Sheng did not speak for a long time, Vice Commander Bo was extremely anxious. Just as Vice Commander Bo was about to lose control of his emotions and was about to shake Pei Sheng, Yiqing Luo raised her hand and blocked Vice Commander Bo's hand. Lower your voice. Zishi's soul is injured. Any shock will cause her soul to leave her body. Vice Commander Bo's expression changed as he became even more anxious and uneasy. What on earth is going on? Will Zishi be alright? Chapter 3602. Vice Leader Bo nodded repeatedly. Right. Go to Blood Mercenary Group's base. The mercenary group has the best doctors. They will definitely be able to take good care of Zishi. Saying that, he went forward and stretched out his arms towards Pei Sheng. Boss Pei, leave Zishi to us. Pei Sheng's expression was gloomy as he lowered his eyes, hiding the haze on his face. I won't trouble you, I will take good care of her. Boss Pei, we are very clear about the situation at the Treasure Exchange Hall. Based on your current conditions, you will not be able to take good care of her. Vice Captain Bo explained, Zishi is a member of our bloody mercenary group. We will definitely give her the best conditions. Pei Sheng's body suddenly stiffened, as though his own fig leaf had been shamed by the enemy. He slowly raised his head. His brows were filled with a blank and uneasiness. He stared at Vice Leader Bo in a daze. In his mind, that sentence of Vice Leader Bo kept replaying on the screen. Based on your current conditions, you will not be able to take good care of her. Based on your current conditions, you will not be able to take good care of her. He couldn't take care of Gu Zishi? He couldn't even take care of the treasure exchange. What right did he have to take care of Gu Zishi? The current Gu Zishi. Her soul was damaged and her condition was not very good. He couldn't give Gu Zishi the best care. Looking at Vice Leader Bo's outstretched hand. Little by little, Pei Sheng carefully moved the person in his arms towards Vice Regiment Commander Bo. Seeing this scene, Yiqing Luo couldn't help but burst out with vulgarities. Motherf***her. This lad, had he thrown all the chicken soup that she had fed him to the back of his head? She painstakingly said a bunch of things. He didn't listen to her at all? Just like that, he sent his own woman into another man's hands? Couldn't he have a little bit of a man's confidence? Yiqing Luo had a feeling of resentment towards him for failing to meet her expectations. Just as Pei Xing was about to send her into Vice Leader Bo's arms, she strode forward and raised her hand, moving Gu Zixi head back into Pei Xing's arms. After that, she raised her head and smiled at Vice Leader Bo, speaking in a serious tone. I understand Zixi's condition the best. Leave Zixi in the treasure exchange, I will take care of her. Vice Commander Bo's hand froze. His brows creased as he looked at Yiqing Luo, about to rebut. Su Qingbing's voice interrupted Vice Captain Bo's words. Then we'll do as Miss D says and escort Zixi back to the treasure-gathering hall. Commander. Vice Commander Bo's face darkened. Su Qingbing looked at him with an unquestionable gaze. Miss D risked her life to save Zixi. You are indeed the person who understands Zixi's situation the best. With Miss D's relationship with Zixi, Miss D will definitely take good care of Zixi. Vice Guild Leader Bo wanted to say something. But after seeing the look in Su Qingbing's eyes, he swallowed the words that were stuck in his throat. Yiqing Luo glanced sideways at Pei Xing, who was still standing there in a daze. He didn't know if he should carry Gu Zixi back into his arms or continue to move into Vice Commander Bo's arms. Yiqing Luo helplessly patted his shoulder. Carry Zixi properly, let's leave West Cliff Mountain first. Pei Xing came back to his senses and immediately tightened his grip on the person in his arms. The group walked towards the Bloody Mercenary Group. The mercenaries from Bloody Mercenary Group walked in front. Pei Xing carried Gu Zixi and followed closely behind. As for Yiqing Luo, she was walking behind Pei Xing. Chapter 3603. Yiqing Luo tilted her head and took a look at Su Qingbing. I'm just a rogue wandering around without a fixed residence. For a noble like Leader Su, it's normal that you haven't seen me before. Su Qingbing's beautiful eyes squinted slightly as she scrutinized Yiqing Luo. Seeing the young lady's calm expression, it didn't look like she was lying. Then she changed the topic. Does Miss D intend to find a place to settle down? Yiqing Luo raised her brows as she laughed out. From what Leader Su means, you're hinting me if I should join the Blood Mercenary Group? The Blood Mercenary Group admires powerful people. Su Qingbing didn't deny it. Miss D has such ability. If you join the mercenary group, you'll definitely have some achievements. Leader Su thinks too highly of me. Yiqing Luo stretched her body. Speaking of which, my profound grade can't even be compared to your Blood Mercenary Group. Moreover, I'm used to freedom and can't stand the restrictions of the mercenary group. Su Qingbing laughed lightly. It's not that I've overestimated you, but you indeed have the ability to make me overestimate you. She paused and smiled again. But since Miss D has no intention to join the Blood Mercenary Group, I won't force you. Yiqing Luo shrugged her shoulders with a lazy look. Silence fell between the two of them again. And the few mercenaries around them looked at Yiqing Luo's expression, which wasn't very good. Vice Leader Bo's expression also turned ugly. In this way, they maintained this strange atmosphere as they met up with the Blood Mercenary Group's main force. The group of people left the West Cliff Mountain in a grandiose manner, as they were worried that other accidents might happen and disturb Gu Zixi. The group's speed was extremely fast. They had just reached the entrance of the West Cliff Mountain. A white silhouette dashed towards them at lightning speed. The Blood Mercenary Group's members immediately guarded Yiqing Luo and the others with vigilance as they gripped their weapons tightly. When they saw the person clearly, Yiqing Luo waved her hand. This is the helper I found, but he seems to be late. The person who dashed over was none other than Old Lai. Old Lai's face was filled with anxiety as he saw numerous people trying to block his footsteps. His profound chi exploded as he was about to slap this group of people to death. However, he was stopped by a clear voice. Old Lai, stop. Lao Lai's body stiffened. He wriggled for a long time before withdrawing his hand. He worriedly sized up Yiqing Luo from top to bottom, and on seeing that Yiqing Luo had no signs of injury, he heaved a sigh of relief. He raised his hand and directly pushed aside the group members who had gathered around him as he strode towards Yiqing Luo. The members looked at Lao Lai with fear in their eyes. They gripped their weapons tightly and stared at Lao Lai stiffly. He was vigilant, but he didn't dare to act rashly. Just like that, he watched Old Lai striding towards Yiqing Luo. Why are you only here now? Yiqing Luo looked at Old Lai's sweaty face as she asked. Old Lai's face immediately darkened. Flustered and exasperated, he said, I was stopped by the city lord of Without Embroiling City. City Lord Lu? What's going on? Yiqing Luo frowned. Old Lai angrily said, I was sitting in the treasure-gathering hall when that city lord brought a large group of people with him. He said that he had received a tip-off that the treasure-gathering hall had secretly accepted the help of the Qiao family and our Hell Palace to smuggle treasures that could be sold at a high price in the auction. They insisted on searching the entire treasure-gathering hall. When Yiqing Luo heard that, her expression congealed. You allowed them to search. Chapter 3604. Yiqing Luo looked at Old Lai suspiciously. Didn't you do it? Based on Old Lai's character, City Lord Lu came to create a ruckus. How could he possibly tolerate it? Old Lai's face sunk. I really wanted to do it. But that city lord said that if I don't cooperate with the investigation, it means I have a guilty conscience. If I were to kill someone, that would be the evidence and this debt would be placed on the treasure gathering and Peishing that fellow. Speaking of this, Old Lai's face turned even darker. You want to help that fellow to stir up the treasure gathering, so I can only swallow this anger and let them investigate. Then did they find anything? Peishing asked with an ugly expression on his face when he heard Old Lai's words. If City Lord Lu wanted to destroy the treasure gathering, while they were investigating they would do something, the treasure gathering was going to be maligned to death. With me around, what tricks do they dare to do? Old Lai snorted coldly. Of course they didn't find anything. Didn't find anything? After that? Yiqing Luo's slender brows creased slightly. After that, they left. Old Lai scratched his head. Yiqing Luo raised her hands slightly and her slender fingers stroked her chin as she squinted her eyes. Which means they left directly after the investigation? Then eldest young Master Qiao told you that I went to West Cliff Mountain and you rushed over? Old Lai replied, That's right, why did you come out so quickly? At least wait for me to save your life. Yiqing Luo? After saving her. Did that mean that the Hell Palace owed her a favor, had been repaid? Yiqing Luo looked at Peishing's direction and said, Let's return to the treasure gathering first and settle Zishi down before we discuss this matter. Actually, Yiqing Luo had already guessed the reason behind City Lord Lu's actions. Things couldn't be so coincidental. Gu Zishi was sent flying into the soul-devouring formation by the magical beast guarding the medicinal herbs because of picking the medicinal herbs. Blood Mercenary Group then went to the medical hall to seek help from Gu Zishi. She entered West Cliff Mountain and entered the soul-devouring formation. When Old Lai wanted to help, he was stopped by City Lord Lu. This was obviously to stop Old Lai. He wanted to delay time and trap her in the soul-devouring formation. Who were the black-clothed men that Xiao Yulu mentioned? Did he deliberately plan to deal with her? Miss D, since you've saved Zishi today, the bloody mercenaries owe you a favor. If there's anything you need help with, feel free to ask, Su Qingbing said. Yiqing Luo smiled at her. Zishi is my friend and the person consciousness Sheng cares about the most. Me saving Zishi has nothing to do with the bloody mercenary group. Su Qingbing's smile froze. Yiqing Luo nodded politely at her. Instead, I should thank Blood for taking care of Zishi. We'll bring Zishi away first. Let's meet again if fate wills it. With that, he, Peishing, Old Lai, and the others walked past the bloody mercenary group members and left. The mercenaries stared blankly at the three of them as they left, their hearts still beating wildly. Until Yiqing Luo and the other two silhouettes completely disappeared before their eyes. Deputy Guild Leader Bo gulped down a mouthful of saliva. Guild Leader, if I'm not mistaken, that old man is someone from the Underworld Palace, right? Su Qingbing nodded with an unfathomable expression. The mercenaries by the side were shocked. What's the background of that D Luo? Even the people from the Underworld Palace are so respectful towards her? Could she be an expert who came down from the upper realm to travel? Chapter 3605. Vice Regiment Commander Bo was taken aback. You mean it's not intense? You mean D Luo's profound rank hasn't even crossed the sage level? Su Qingbing nodded. Vice Leader Bo was shocked. Leader, don't joke with us. How does her arrogance look like someone who hasn't even reached the sage level? Su Qingbing pondered for a while. I'm also very curious as to where her confidence comes from. But now, I have a rough idea. What do you know? Vice Leader Bo asked in confusion. Su Qingbing curled her lips. If she's really just an ordinary person, she definitely wouldn't be able to cultivate such a domineering aura. To be honest, standing in front of her, even I feel inferior. Vice Leader Bo was dumbfounded. The surrounding mercenaries were also dumbfounded. This was the first time they heard their leader praise someone like that. Plus, she can make those lunatics from the Underworld Palace bow down to her. That's enough to prove her strength. Su Qingbing continued. Then, with a smile on her face, she asked, if I were to personally go to the Underworld Palace and ask their seniors for help, what sort of reaction do you think the Underworld Palace would have? The mercenaries looked at each other, not daring to speak. In the end, it was Vice Leader Bo who asked softly, do you want to hear the truth or a lie? Su Qingbing said, the truth. Vice Leader Bo said, the truth is? I think that the people from the Underworld Palace are already giving face to bloody mercenaries by allowing us to get close to them. The mercenaries all nodded in unison. Those lunatics from the Underworld Palace. They didn't dare to provoke them at all. Not to mention, talking to the people from the Underworld Palace. So, no matter what Di Luo's profound rank is, she's still someone we can't underestimate. If we can become friends, that would be for the best. A glint flashed in Su Qingbing's eyes. It should be easy to be friends with someone like that. Vice Leader Bo thought of something and his face darkened. She doesn't seem to want Zishi to interact with us. You've made it so obvious that she's on Pei Sheng's side. Naturally, she wouldn't want you to be too close to Zishi. Su Qingbing glanced at her vice-captain. I say you should get rid of your feelings for Zishi as soon as possible. You should know better than anyone else who Zishi is thinking about. Deputy Commander Bo's face stiffened and he looked unwilling. I know, but I don't think Pei Sheng can bring happiness to Zishi. Zishi will understand this one day. Su Qingbing did not continue trying to persuade him. You can do whatever you want. However, if it involves the tacit understanding of the team, as the guild leader, I will not be so lenient. Treasures Exchange Hall. Yiqing Luo and the others had just arrived at the Treasures Exchange Hall when they saw Qiao Yinyan walking back and forth at the entrance of the Treasures Exchange Hall. Chapter 3606. Hearing Qiao Yinyan's question. She hesitated for a moment, then suddenly looked at Qiao Yinyan with a serious expression. If I said that everything that happened in the West Cliff Mountain was planned by your younger sister, the Empyrean Fairy, and someone else, would you believe me? Qiao Yinyan replied without hesitation, yes. Such decisiveness made Yiqing Luo feel a little embarrassed. She pursed her lips and decided to tell the truth. Something happened in West Cliff Mountain. Mysterious Fairy was betrayed by the person behind her. She paused and suddenly raised her charming eyes to stare at him. I know that my words are somewhat of an excuse, so I won't explain too much. After all, the death of the Empyrean Fairy is indeed related to me. Qiao Yinyan's expression suddenly froze. His pupils slightly shrunk. You mean, Princess Yu Lu Shi? Yiqing Luo nodded, yes. Qiao Yinyan stiffened and lowered his head. After a long while, he spoke in a low voice, I will tell father about this matter. You don't have to feel too guilty. She has such an ending, it's all her own fault. As for Master Qiao, I will bear all the responsibility. Yiqing Luo could see the complex emotions on Qiao Yinyan's face. She expressed her understanding. After all, no matter how much Qiao Yinyan disliked Qiao Yulu, she was his biological sister. His biological sister died because of her. No matter how dissatisfied he was with Qiao Yulu, he could no longer use his previous attitude to face Yiqing Luo. I will go back to Qiao family first. I will settle this matter. Qiao Yinyan looked at her with a heavy tone. Without waiting for Yiqing Luo to say anything, Qiao Yinyan turned around and left. Yiqing Luo looked at his departing figure and sighed. You killed without embroiling city's mysterious fairy? Old Lai's voice came from behind. Yiqing Luo turned back. She made use of Zishi to lure me into the Spirit Devourer array, preparing to kill me in the Spirit Devourer array, but she was swallowed by the Spirit Devourer array. Spirit Devourer array? The Spirit Devourer array? Old Lai's eyes widened in surprise. This array is amazing. Even the Spirit Devourer array has been awakened. Yiqing Luo, what exactly is your focus? Lao Lai clicked his tongue. The key is that the formation has formed a formation spirit, but you still managed to break the formation with Guzishi alive. You really deserve to be the Overlord's woman. Yiqing Luo's eyelashes trembled violently. The expression on her face instantly became downcast. Her drooping eyes were covered with a thin layer of mist. Even if he couldn't see it clearly, Lao Lai also felt it. Yiqing Luo seemed like she was going to cry? The she-devil could actually cry? Lao Lai was both shocked and surprised. He was just about to ask her. But he saw Yiqing Luo turning around and walking towards the inner hall. I'm a little tired. I'll go in and rest first. You continue to look around, lest City Lord Lu make use of this period of time to do something. Lao Lai heard the hoarseness and bitterness in the girl's voice. He opened his mouth wanting to stop the girl. But when he saw the girl's extreme loneliness, he felt as if he was shrouded in a thick layer of pain. He couldn't bring himself to say what he wanted to say. What was going on? Did he say something wrong? Why did she suddenly seem to have changed into another person? Yi Qingluo lowered her head and returned to Gu Zixi room. Pei Xing carried Gu Zixi to his room. The soundproofing here wasn't very good. Chapter 3607. She lowered her eyes and suddenly burst out laughing. She didn't know when the two people next door would come to fruition. Based on Pei Xing's character, lukewarm, Gu Zixi would have to force him to sleep with her. Only then would there be a possibility of further development. She fell onto the bed and opened her eyes, looking at the dilapidated roof. But even if they didn't progress further, to be able to stay by her lover's side, to be able to look at her lover like this, that was already the most blissful thing. Last, thinking of the overlord again? Old man Song's deliberately gentle voice rang in her mind. Yi Qingluo's pink lips pursed slightly. He will be fine, right? Old man Song sighed. Even if it's for you, he won't let anything happen to himself. Yi Qingluo raised her hand and covered her eyes. Her mind was filled with the man's peerlessly handsome face, using his shimmering peach blossom eyes to look at her with a gaze filled with love and adoration. Her heart suddenly tightened and felt a dull pain. Her thoughts returned to earlier. Spirit-devouring array. After the array core spirit's energy returned to its original form, she used all her energy to destroy those black light balls. At the same time, just when the black light balls were at their wits' end, Shiju gulped one by one, swallowing all of those black light balls into its stomach. The mountains collapsed and the ground cracked as the earth shook. The entire array was completely destroyed. Everything in the surroundings kept on exploding. Yi Qingluo looked towards Dmo Xian's direction amidst the turbulence, rejoicing that she had left Qi by Dmo Xian's side right from the start. Qi carried Dmo Xian on its back as they avoided wave after wave of energy that shook the array. Seeing this, Yi Qingluo heaved a sigh of relief as she focused on resisting against the array's energy, until Shiju had swallowed all the black light balls. The entire empty space started to dissipate slowly, bit by bit. West Cliff Mountain's lush forest environment was restored. This also meant that the array was completely broken. As Shiju had swallowed too many array mediums, it needed to absorb those energies, so it returned to the pet space to sleep. Yi Qingluo slowly descended from the sky. She walked quickly towards Dmo Xian's direction. But when she took a step forward, Lin Sanjiu was stunned. Suddenly he felt a burning sensation in his chest. Shortly after, the qi in his limbs and bones began to run rampant in all directions. The dark force, which had been repeatedly compressed, suddenly exploded. Yi Qingluo instantly half-squatted on the ground in pain as her face became distorted. Her aura became more and more restless. The Xian qi in his body surged and clamored, as if he was venting something. Yi Qingluo clenched her teeth and maintained her consciousness. Old man Song, what's going on? Old man Song also panicked. Oh no, the power sealed in your body is about to burst out. The dark force that venerable sovereign transferred to you can't suppress the restless power any longer. This power had been sealed within the divine phoenix profound heart jade for a very long time. Now they were all released. He couldn't help but want Yi Qingluo's body to accept this surge of energy. Yi Qingluo frowned and raised her hand to press in the direction of her profound jade heart. Then what if I break through to the profound grade now? It's too risky. Old man Song was extremely anxious. If you can break through successfully, that would be the best. But if you fail, I'm worried that you will be swallowed by this surge of energy. Yi Qingluo was also very clear about this outcome. Earlier, under the protection of Dmo Xian's profound energy. Chapter 3608. Now just based on her own strength. If she wanted to integrate this energy and break through to the profound grade. She was afraid. Yi Qingluo pursed her lips tightly as she felt a little conflicted. If it was based on her own thoughts, she naturally wanted to give it a try. She had 50% confidence that she could absorb all this energy. She wanted to break through herself and raise her ability. After coming to the earth boundary, Yi Qingluo deeply felt the difference between her profound grade and others. If she didn't have her past life's training as a hidden family's young matriarch, if she didn't have the help of sacred beasts, divine weapons and so on, she would definitely not be able to face Xiao Yulu confidently. Moreover, she had to rely on Dmo Xian to break this spirit-devouring array. If one day, she had nothing, if Dmo Xian had no way to protect her in time, what would become of her? Yi Qingluo couldn't think about that ending. She had never thought of using any shortcuts to become strong. What she wanted was to raise her own strength, to make herself really strong. Strong enough to rely on herself to face any difficulties and setbacks. But, now, the decision she made was not only related to her personally. She had to consider Dmo Xian's thoughts. 50% success rate. This risk was simply too huge. Dmo Xian would not allow her to take such a risk, just like how she couldn't bear for anything to happen to Dmo Xian. She couldn't bear the remaining 50% result. Just as her heart was in a dilemma, she suddenly heard a gentle and familiar voice, "Lil Luo, you can do it, I believe in you." Yiqing Luo was stunned as she looked towards the direction of the voice. She saw Dmo Xian was brought to her side by Qi Qi. The man's purple robe billowed like rolling clouds, covered in Qi Qi's white fur. He leaned on Qi Qi's back as his slightly pale thin lips curled up slightly, outlining a faint smile. "Lil Luo, go ahead and do it, I'm always here." The moment his words landed, the man suddenly raised his hand. His broad palm was shrouded in a layer of faint profound glow. That profound glow made Yiqing Luo's eyes heated up. Her body stiffened as she realized what Dmo Xian wanted to do. "Xian, no. Your body is already very weak now." Yiqing Luo anxiously tried to stop him. However, even if the man was under the influence of the soul-devouring formation, his speed was still above hers. Not waiting for Yiqing Luo to get up to stop him, Dmo Xian's palm had already held onto Yiqing Luo's little hand. His large and broad palm firmly wrapped around her small hand. A burst of dense spiritual qi instantly gushed into Yiqing Luo's body from their intersecting palms. Yiqing Luo instantly felt waves after waves of restless profound qi in her body, as though it had its own consciousness, as it instantly surged towards the profound energy which Dmo Xian had instilled. Moreover, this dark force was originally disorderly in the body, and it was running around wantonly. At this moment, everything became orderly. "Little girl, Dizun is helping you integrate these dark forces to make a breakthrough. You should quickly stabilize your mind and absorb the energy in your body." Old man Tsang reminded her happily. "He exhausted his own energy to help me. Does it affect him in any way?" Yiqing Luo's entire body was trembling slightly because of the profound energy in her body. Dmo Xian's hands were intertwined with hers and she could not move at all, as though she was glued to his palms. Chapter 3609. Yiqing Luo's eyes reddened. She clenched her teeth and looked at Dmo Xian, who was smiling at her. The man was still the same as before, with a doting and tender gaze. It made her heart ache a little. She took a deep breath and tried hard to calm her mind as she sat cross-legged. With Dmo Xian's help, she absorbed all the profound energy in her body cleanly. Boom! Yiqing Luo's body gave out a loud explosion. Her delicate body shook. The lingering heaven and earth spiritual qi instantly became pure. Endless profound energy, wave after wave, lingered around Yiqing Luo and kept surging. Her breathing was long and slow. Then there was a slight tremble. The dazzling profound light covered the surrounding 100 miles of dense forest in a split second. Breakthrough, Sage Profound Level. Promotion, Sage Profound First Grade. When all the heaven and earth spiritual qi slowly settled down, Yiqing Luo's profound grade stopped at the Sage Profound First Grade peak stage. Yiqing Luo remembered that old man Tsang had specially told her before. The profound grade after the Sage Profound was divided into 15 grades. Each grade was divided into 3 stages: initial, intermediate, and peak stage. Each stage was equivalent to an advancement in the previous stage. Yiqing Luo slowly opened her eyes and clenched her fingers, feeling the flow of energy in her body. Her lips curled up as she looked at Dmo Xian joyfully. "Ah Xian, I succeeded. I succeeded." But the moment she raised her head, the smile on the young girl's face froze on her face. The man who clung to her hand and forcefully poured his energy into her so that she could break through, had unknowingly let go of her hand. That incomparably tall figure, in her eyes, turned into a thin mist, a transparent figure that would dissipate with the wind at any time. Yiqing Luo's eyes suddenly turned red. Tears fell uncontrollably from the bottom of her eyes. Her heart and throat felt as if something was pressing down hard, making her unable to breathe. It was as if something was eroding her body and mind, making her feel as if she was in an ice-cold icehouse in the winter of December. The bone-chilling coldness made her body extremely stiff. "Ah Xian," her hoarse voice called out Dmo Xian's name. Dmo Xian's figure was faintly discernible, as though he would disappear any time as he leaned lazily on Qi Qi's back. Hearing the girl's voice, the corners of his mouth still held a gentle and loving smile. as though he was happy for Yi Qingluo's breakthrough. A Xian. Yi Qingluo trembled all over as she stretched out her hand towards Diamo Xian, trying to touch him. However, she saw the man slowly shaking his head at her. His smile was still so gentle. It was so gentle that it made one's heart ache. Her hand froze in midair. In her ears, she seemed to hear the man's low and gentle voice saying two words, "Wait for me." This voice was so light that it seemed to be scattered by the wind. Yi Qingluo realized something as her pupils contracted fiercely. Ah Xian. A Xian. She anxiously wanted to rush forward and hug the man. However, her body was in the air. The man who smiled gently at her gradually disappeared into thin air. She called out Diamo Xian's name several times. But she didn't get any response. Even the sandalwood scent in the air also dissipated along with the breeze, as though he had never appeared. Chapter 36:10. Yi Qingluo laid on Chi-Chi's back in a daze, expressionless and somewhat dazed. Old man Song sighed. The overlord asked you to wait for him, which means he will be fine. Yi Qingluo still didn't speak. Even her eyes had become somewhat empty. Old man Song was worried but didn't know how to comfort her. Girl? Don't think too much. I guarantee with my reputation that the overlord will be fine. After a few days of rest, he will come to without embroiling city to find you. Think about it, he is the overlord, someone that even the upper realm dare not provoke. Now it is just a soul devourer formation which slightly consumes some energy, but not enough to hurt him. Girl? Girl? Old man Song nagged, racking his brains to appease her. But the girl didn't move from the beginning to the end. That pair of eyes which had always been full of vigor and charm seemed to have lost all her soul. She didn't listen to his words at all. Old man Song glanced at her, sighed helplessly and didn't speak any more. In fact, old man Song also knew in his heart. What was the hurdle in Yi Qingluo's heart? She also knew that Diamo Xian would definitely come to without embroiling city to find her. Nothing would happen. But, because of her, it caused Diamo Xian, such an unrestrained man, to become so embarrassed. And because of her, he was injured. His soul suffered heavy damage. And when his soul was injured, because he cared about her thoughts, because he understood what she was thinking, and once again consumed his energy, just to let her break through successfully. Especially, looking at the man who was so strong that no one in the world could defeat, disappear weakly in front of her eyes. The cause of all this was because of her. Yi Qingluo's heart was more uncomfortable and painful than anyone else, carrying a heart full of guilt and self-blame. Yi Qingluo now couldn't walk out of it. Old man Song sighed. His girl had always been a strong child. At this time she could only rely on herself to figure it out. Chi-Chi also knew that its master was upset. He carefully curled up on the ground and curled up his body, encircling Yi Qingluo in his fur, quietly accompanying her. Old man Song also showed his physical body, guarding beside Yi Qingluo. Time passed slowly. About half an hour later, the motionless girl's fingers suddenly moved. His eyes also blinked. Slowly he sat up straight in Chi-Chi's arms. Hearing the noise, old man Song immediately looked over. "Lass, are you all right?" The young girl's expression had already returned to its previous bright and arrogant state. Her charming eyes were also tainted with her own quick-wittedness. She smiled at old man Song. "We have to find Zixi and Ashing first. I don't know if their souls have been affected." After saying that, he walked towards the dense forest. His voice was calm. His smile was impeccable. Just like earlier, his soul seemed to have disappeared along with Diamo Xian, and the appearance of disappearing had never existed. Later the girl found Gu Zixi and Pei Sheng. He then met up with the bloody mercenary group. Then he returned to treasure gathering. Wait a minute, what happened next? The young girl wore a smile on her face and there was nothing unusual in her emotions. Until now, when the girl was alone in the room. Only then did old man Song see the pain that was suppressed in the depths of the young girl's heart. It wasn't that she wasn't sad. It wasn't that Diamo Xian was hurt because of her, but she couldn't stay by his side. Chapter 36:11. Love was not the only thing in her life. There were still many things waiting for her to solve. She could only do what was in front of her. Then she would have the chance to keep her promise with Diamo Xian. Wait for him, wait for him, wait for him. Old man Song quietly looked at the young lady who was lying on the bed, covering her eyes with her hands. He sighed secretly in his heart. This girl, no matter how strong she was still a lady after all. Her heart was soft after all. He also knew that at this time what this girl needed was not comfort, but to accompany her quietly. Don't mention anything about the overlord. Yiqing Luo lay like this for the whole night. The next day when she pushed open the door, she had already changed back to the previous Yiqing Luo. Just as she walked out of the door next door was coincidentally pushed open. Pei Xing walked out with an exhausted look. Seeing Yiqing Luo, he smiled. Morning. Morning. Yiqing Luo looked at the basin in Pei Xing's hands. How is Zishi? Still unconscious, not awake. Pei Xing lowered his eyes. Ah Luo, when do you think little sister will wake up? It's related to the soul, it can be big or small, she needs to rest for a period of time. Yiqing Luo took out a prescription. Go get the medicine and boil it for Zishi. She walked towards the front hall and after a few steps she said, if you don't have the crystal stones, get it from Old Lai first after the business picks up, then return it to him. Pei Xing's face turned slightly red, he indeed had no money. Ask the Hell Palace's senior this. Is not good, right? Or you want to ask the Blood Red? Yiqing Luo raised her brows and looked at him. That's not a bad idea. If the Blood Red knows that this medicine is for Zishi, it will definitely not use a single crystal stone. Pei Xing. He had better borrow it from Old Lai. Yiqing Luo walked into the hall. Then he saw Old Lai who was sitting on the main seat looking sloppy. And Xiaoyan was standing at the entrance pacing back and forth. Hearing footsteps, Xiaoyan looked up. Seeing Yiqing Luo, he quickly walked up and frowned. Ah Luo, I have something to tell you. Xiaoyan's handsome face was filled with anxiety. Yiqing Luo asked, what is it? Xiaoyan's expression was grave as he asked, are you sure that Princess Yulu was devoured by the soul-devouring spell formation? Yiqing Luo nodded her head. I saw with my own eyes the evil qi of the array core swallowing her. What happened? Xiaoyan's expression was somewhat unsightly. Last night when I returned to the Qiao family I planned to tell father about this, but guess what I saw? Yiqing Luo narrowed her eyes. You saw? Mysterious maiden? Yes. Xiaoyan held Yiqing Luo's shoulders with both hands. Due to his agitated emotions, his silvery hair stuck to his face. Princess Yulu. In her room I heard from the servants that today she had not left the Qiao residence. Did you see her? Yiqing Luo looked down at Xiaoyan's hand on her shoulder and frowned slightly. Xiaoyan realized that something was wrong. He quickly let go and took a few steps back apologetically. I saw her. It was indeed her. She was lying on the bed, but she covered her face with a black veil and didn't let me and father see it. Black veil? Covered her face? This point made Yiqing Luo puzzled. Xiaoyan used a white veil to cover her face. Because the white veil was faintly discernible, this half-covered half was the most attractive. Chapter 36:12. If you didn't see her face, how can you be sure that she is mysterious fairy? Yiqing Luo raised a doubt. That's what I guessed too. Xiaoyan frowned slightly. I feel that if Princess Yulu was really devoured at the West Cliff Mountain, then the Princess Yulu at home must be fake. Even if she has the same face it might be a disguise. Speaking of this, Xiaoyan's voice paused for a moment. Following that he continued, but the one at home. I can be sure that she is the real Princess Yulu. Which means, the mysterious fairy I met in the spirit-devouring formation is fake? Yiqing Luo squinted her eyes as her slender fingers caressed her chin. Xiaoyan's face was filled with puzzlement and doubt. Although Princess Yulu had left the Qiao family at a young age to head to Linglong Palace in order to become Mysterious Fairy's candidate. But she is after all my twin sister from the same mother. Towards her, I understand her very well so I can be sure that she is Princess Yulu. As for the person you met at the West Cliff Mountain, I can't be sure if it's real or fake. He paused for a moment and continued, moreover, if the person you met is fake Princess Yulu then? What is the motive of the person who set up the formation behind you? Could it be that he wants to stir up the enmity between you and Princess Yulu? To make you hate the Qiao family? Yiqing Luo pursed her lips as her slender fingers pressed on her veil and pressed on her pink lips. No. That person yesterday, his attitude and feeling towards me is very similar to Mysterious Fairy. It can't be fake. Especially later on. In order to save his life. All kinds of begging looks. She really resembled Xiao Yulu's character. No, not right. Wait a minute. That Xiao Yulu in the spirit-devouring formation yesterday. She didn't have the wounds that she left on him the day before yesterday. And her ability had increased greatly. Although she explained later on that it was because a group of black-robed men gave her a pill to raise her profound grade. However, who knew if what she said was true or not? Thinking of this, Yiqing Luo suddenly raised her head and looked at Xiao Yinyan seriously. I want to make a trip to your Qiao residence to meet mysterious fairy personally to confirm. Xiao Yinyan nodded without hesitation. All right, no problem. The two of them didn't waste any time. After bidding farewell to Pei Sheng, they didn't even eat breakfast and directly left Treasure Gathering Hall. Lao Lai immediately caught up. I'm going too. With your father around, those bastards from the Qiao family will definitely be docile. Xiao Yinyan. Grandson of a bitch? If they wanted to scold the Qiao family, couldn't they do it when he wasn't around? Yiqing Luo. She wasn't going to the Qiao residence to find trouble, wasn't bringing Old Lai to wreck the place. Yiqing Luo decisively rejected Old Lai and strongly requested Old Lai to stay and guard the treasure gathering. In the end, he used the excuse of, who knows if City Lord Lu will go to the treasure gathering hall again and cause trouble, to successfully make Old Lai stay. Qiao Mansion. Yiqing Luo's arrival wasn't like what Yiqing Luo had imagined, meeting with Patriarch Qiao's objection. On the contrary, Patriarch Qiao heard that she and Xiao Yinyan had arrived at the manor. He rushed over from the meeting hall. It was said that there were many stewards from various places standing in the meeting hall. Yiqing Luo just entered the Qiao residence. Patriarch Qiao came up to them. His two eyes darted back and forth between Yiqing Luo and Xiao Yinyan. Chapter 36:13. Xiao Yinyan's handsome face instantly flushed with embarrassment. Father, Luo only came to the residence. I understand. I've been through it, of course I understand. Patriarch Qiao patted his son's shoulder and smiled at Yiqing Luo. Miss D, let's go to the main hall and have a good chat. Yiqing Luo. Indeed, Patriarch Qiao had misunderstood the relationship between her and Xiao Yinyan. But Xiao Yinyan's ambiguous attitude towards her was indeed very easy to misunderstand. Even she had misunderstood that Xiao Yinyan had some other thoughts towards her. Seeing Xiao Yinyan's awkward expression, wanting to explain but was interrupted by Patriarch Qiao in various ways. Yiqing Luo sighed. She could tell that Patriarch Qiao valued his son or daughter very much. Patriarch Qiao definitely knew what Xiao Yinyan wanted to say, but intentionally interrupted repeatedly, just to let this misunderstanding continue. Who knows, this misunderstanding might become real as it continues to spread. But Yiqing Luo expressed that no matter how this misunderstanding continued, it would not become true. Rather than letting the elders be filled with hope, why not make things clear right from the start? She coughed lightly and interrupted Patriarch Qiao's enthusiasm. Thank you, Patriarch Qiao, for your concern. I'm here on an important matter, so I won't disturb Patriarch Qiao to accompany me personally. Patriarch Qiao was first stunned and then laughed. That's true, you youngsters. Only like two people. Father, Xiao Yinyan wanted to explain. Patriarch Qiao stared at his son. Did you hear that? Young ladies like two people to interact in private. In future when you're free, spend more time with Miss D. It's best if it's two people in private. As he said that, he intentionally emphasized on the words two people, in private. Xiao Yinyan. His heart was so tired, there was no way to communicate properly with his father. It was Yiqing Luo who revealed a hesitant expression on her face as she said helplessly, Yinyan and I are just ordinary friends. If Yinyan keeps accompanying me privately, my fiancé will probably be jealous. What do you mean? This kid doesn't have a lot of things, but he has a lot of time to accompany you. Patriarch Qiao suddenly stopped speaking, as if he had just realized something. His eyes widened. Fiancé? You have a fiancé. Yiqing Luo blinked her eyes innocently and naively. Yes, Yinyan also knows about this matter, didn't he tell you? Patriarch Qiao glared at Xiao Yinyan. Then he gritted his teeth and clenched his fists. F***ck. That damned old man actually dared to lie to me. Who said she could be my daughter-in-law? Your father must tear him apart. Qiao family's head cursed as he clenched his fists. He cracked his knuckles and quickly left. Yiqing Luo. How realistic. After knowing that she had a fiancé, his attitude changed. However, just now, when Patriarch Qiao mentioned that damn old man, who was he referring to? What Patriarch Qiao said seemed to be. Someone lied to him, saying that she could become Qiao family's daughter-in-law? Cough. Luo, don't mind him. My father, he's anxious to carry a grandson, so he did that. Xiao Yinyan explained awkwardly. Who is the damn old man that your father was talking about? Yiqing Luo felt that this old man was someone she knew. Chapter 36:14. Yiqing Luo retracted her gaze and said, Forget it, let's go to Mysterious Fairy's courtyard first. In order to avoid the awkwardness between the two due to Lord Qiao's disturbance, Qiao Yinyan immediately brought Yiqing Luo to Qiao Yulu's courtyard. Qiao Yulu was indeed the second daughter of the Qiao family. Coupled with her identity as Mysterious Fairy, the location of her courtyard was the best location in the entire Qiao residence. The decor was luxurious and elegant, showing nobility everywhere. Yiqing Luo clicked her tongue. She had grown up in such an environment with a distinguished status and a doting father. She had never suffered any unequal treatment. It was no wonder that Qiao Yulu's character was so arrogant. With Qiao Yinyan leading the way, the two of them entered Qiao Yulu's courtyard one after another. There were at least 10 overmaids walking back and forth in the courtyard. Yiqing Luo swept a glance around. She discovered that there were quite a number of cultivators with weak breaths hidden in the dark corners of the courtyard. All of their profound qi fluctuations were not weak. They should be the secret guards that the Linglong Palace had sent to Qiao Yulu. After turning several corridors, they arrived at the inner courtyard. The atmosphere in the inner courtyard was much more elegant and bright than the luxurious outside. Walking straight, the two of them stopped outside the most spacious room. At the door, a maid who was dressed like a flower, and the moment she saw Qiao Yinyan, her eyes lit up. "Eldest young master." That maid hurriedly went forward and looked at Qiao Yinyan with eyes full of love. Towards the maid's flirting, Qiao Yinyan looked straight ahead and asked faintly, "How is Princess Yulu?" "Princess Yulu just drank her medicine and is still resting." The maidservant replied in a sweet voice. "Eldest young master, you don't have to worry too much. With me taking care of her, she will definitely be fine after resting for a few days." As the maid spoke, she moved closer to Qiao Yinyan. That obvious action. It was obvious that she wanted to tell Qiao Yinyan, "I'm interested in you, I want to woo you." Qiao Yinyan's expression was still calm, and the moment the maid leaned over, his body moved slightly to the side. The maidservant missed and stumbled, falling to the ground. Immediately, the maidservant's face was covered in tears. She stretched out her hand toward Qiao Yinyan. "Eldest young master, this servant is in so much pain. Please support this servant." Qiao Yinyan ignored her outstretched hand and calmly said, "Since Princess Yulu is inside, I'll bring the guest in directly." After saying that, he walked past the servant girl lying on the ground and walked to the tightly shut door. Qiao Yinyan pushed open the door with a creak. After that, he said to Yiqing Luo, "Miss D, you first." After all, it was a woman's room. Qiao Yinyan didn't enter the room first. He wanted to let the maidservant inform them before entering. But looking at the maidservant's expression, Qiao Yinyan simply let Yiqing Luo enter first. Yiqing Luo understood Qiao Yinyan's concerns and nodded as she walked straight into the room. It was only then that the maid who was lying on the ground noticed that there was someone else beside the eldest young master. The maidservant's gaze fell on Yiqing Luo, who had just stepped into the room. Suddenly, her pupils dilated and she stood up from the ground with a look of disgust and fierceness. "It's you, you slut. What do you want to do to my Princess Yulu while she is injured?" The maidservant stood in front of Yiqing Luo. Her face was full of arrogance. Yiqing Luo also saw the maidservant in front of her clearly. Chapter 36:15. Kai Dai was Qiao Yulu's personal maid. Naturally, she was very clear about how much her mistress hated Yiqing Luo. How could she allow Yiqing Luo to appear in front of her mistress? Yiqing Luo squinted her eyes and glanced at Kai Dai, who had opened her arms to block her. Her pink lips slowly curled into a sneer of disdain. She looked sideways at Qiao Yinyan. "Are all your Qiao family's maids so fierce?" "Slut. Were you calling fierce?" Kai Dai's face changed drastically. Unwilling to lose face in front of her sweetheart, she immediately shouted out angrily. Yiqing Luo tilted her head. "I'm talking about whoever is agitated." Kai Dai's face turned livid as she pointed at Yiqing Luo. "Anyway, I will not let you near Princess Yulu." Kai Dai. Qiao Yinyan frowned between his brows, exuded the prestige of a superior as he stared coldly at Kai Dai. "No matter where you come from in the Qiao residence, you are only a Qiao family's maid. Humiliating this young master's friend in front of this young master, is this your etiquette as a maidservant?" Kai Dai's face suddenly turned pale. "Eldest young master, I just... There's no need to explain. I've seen and heard everything clearly." Qiao Yinyan waved his hand, and a powerful gust of wind swept toward Qin Nan. Kai Dai's body was thrown to the ground and crashed into the room, heavily hitting the good mahogany table. The mahogany table broke. Kai Dai cried out "Io yo yo" as she fell to the ground. "What happened?" Xiao Yulu's angry voice was heard from the inner room. Immediately, a slender figure walked out from the inner room. The woman's white long dress hung loosely on her body, showing off her delicate figure. Her face was covered with a black veil, completely concealing her face. Even her eyes were not revealed. Her hair was loose on her shoulders, not tied up. Obviously she had just gotten out of bed. When she saw Yiqing Luo through the black veil, Yiqing Luo clearly felt the strong hatred of the woman opposite her. Yiqing Luo frowned. Judging from his appearance, his voice, and the feeling that the person in front of her gave her, Yiqing Luo also felt that the person in front of him was Xiao Yulu. However, the woman in front of her seemed to hate her a little too much. "It's you?" Xiao Yulu's eyes were cold as she spat out 2 words through gritted teeth. Kai Dai held her sore body and hugged Xiao Yulu's foot. "Princess Yulu, this cheap woman? This cheap woman is bullying this servant. You must help this servant." Yiqing Luo who got shot while lying down. It was obviously Xiaoyan who did it. Xiao Yulu's gaze turned cold. "What? Just because this consort's big brother likes you, you brazenly came to this consort's courtyard to kill this consort?" "Princess Yulu," Xiao Yinyan interrupted Xiao Yulu with a frown, "I was the one who attacked your maidservant. I was the one who brought Aluo here." "This has nothing to do with Aluo." Xiao Yulu sneered, "You've never taken me as your sister in your heart. Knowing that I'm not feeling well, you deliberately brought her in front of me. Aren't you afraid that she will kill me?" "Aluo is not that kind of person," Xiao Yinyan replied calmly. Xiao Yulu laughed even more sarcastically and looked at Yiqing Luo. "You must be very proud of yourself, seeing that this consort's big brother disregarded his sibling relationship for you. You must be laughing in your heart." "Whatever you think." Yiqing Luo's eyes were burning as she stared at Xiao Yulu's black veil. Her gaze seemed to be able to penetrate the veil. Chapter 36:16. Xiao Yulu, who was stared at by Yiqing Luo's torch-like gaze, was obviously flustered. Xiao Yulu turned her head away unnaturally, avoiding eye contact with Yiqing Luo, while speaking fiercely. "What are you looking at? Do you want to laugh at me when you see me like this?" "Yes, it's ridiculous." Facing Xiao Yulu's anger, Yiqing Luo appeared extremely calm. She responded to Xiao Yulu's words lazily with a scornful tone. "The dignified mysterious fairy of without embroiling city doesn't even dare to show her face. Isn't it ridiculous?" Xiao Yulu's finger that was pointing at Yiqing Luo kept trembling. Yiqing Luo tilted her head and smiled innocently. Xiao Yulu withdrew her hand forcefully, her eyes under the black veil stared at Xiao Yinyan with hatred. "Brother, I am tired and have no energy to deal with you. Please take your guest out." Xiao Yinyan took a look at Yiqing Luo. Seeing her calm expression, he shifted his gaze to Xiao Yulu. He paused as if he was weighing his words. After hesitating for a long time, he looked at Xiao Yulu and said, "Princess Yulu, Miss D came to visit you personally out of concern for you." "Concern for me? You are concerned about when I will die." Xiao Yulu didn't believe Xiao Yinyan's words. Yiqing Luo smiled. "You're quite self-aware." Xiao Yulu's face immediately turned pale. She clenched her fists tightly and clenched her teeth until her knuckles creaked. Even through the black veil, Yiqing Luo could feel how distorted Xiao Yulu's face would be under the veil. Yiqing Luo laughed lightly and wantonly. Her slender and fair hand curled up slightly and rested on her smooth chin. She tilted her head to look at Xiao Yulu. Her lips curled up again. The smile on the corner of her mouth was like a blooming datura flower, enchanting and full of suffocating charm. Even Xiao Yulu, who was filled with hatred, when she saw this smile, his pupils involuntarily shrank a little. His heart felt as if it was being ruthlessly pressed by something. Immediately after, the young girl's enchanting voice drifted into Xiao Yulu's ears, word by word. "If I'm not mistaken, the reason why the Empyrean fairy doesn't dare to show her face is because yesterday, she tried to plot against me but ended up being used instead. You were swallowed by the formation spirit, and although you were lucky enough to escape, your face was more than half destroyed by the formation spirit." She paused and chuckled. "Am I right?" Following Yiqing Luo's words, every single word was said out. Yiqing Luo noticed that the lady in front of her started to tremble continuously. Perhaps Xiao Yulu herself hadn't realized it yet. Her body, which was wrapped in a long white dress, was tense and trembling. This reaction, it was obvious that Yiqing Luo had hit the mark on Xiao Yulu's heart. Yiqing Luo raised her brows. Her intuition was right. The person in the soul-devouring array yesterday was Xiao Yulu. And the person he had seen in the Qiao mansion was indeed Xiao Yulu. There was no so-called real or fake Xiao Yulu. But what made Yiqing Luo curious was, what method did Xiao Yulu use to escape safely from the array core spirits devouring? Yiqing Luo examined Xiao Yulu. Xiao Yulu didn't say a word. Chapter 36:17. Xiao Yulu had been suppressing a ball of anger in her chest because of Yiqing Luo. And to hear Yiqing Luo's sarcastic words, the anger immediately surged to her head. Slut. Haven't you caused enough trouble for me? I'm going to kill you. Xiao Yulu's aura surged as she swiftly pounced towards Yiqing Luo. Xiao Yulu was obviously infuriated. This pounce was full of vigor and incomparably ferocious, filled with a chilling murderous intent. A close distance. Yiqing Luo could almost see the pair of icy cold and murderous eyes under Xiao Yulu's black veil. Raging profound chi surged out from Xiao Yulu's body. The entire room was stirred up by a hurricane. All these should be borne by you. You offended that group of black-robed men. On what basis should I bear the consequences? Xiao Yulu gritted her teeth as she bellowed, venting the anger in her heart. Di Luo, even if I'm destroyed, I want you to be buried with me. Her words were filled with murderous intent. Xiao Yulu's attack surged again. The cold and raging profound energy was like a hot knife through butter. As though she was going to perish together with someone. Xiao Yulu's words also admitted Yiqing Luo's earlier guess. Xiao Yinyan linked the conversation between the both of them and what Yiqing Luo had explained to him yesterday. He immediately understood the cause and effect. Yesterday in the spirit-devouring formation, Xiao Yulu, whom Yiqing Luo thought was dead, was indeed his second sister, the mysterious fairy of Without Embroiling City. Now, the injured Xiao Yulu lying in the Qiao residence was also Xiao Yulu. Which meant? It was indeed Xiao Yulu who had joined hands with others to harm Yiqing Luo. Looking at Xiao Yulu's murderous attack, Xiao Yinyan's brows knitted into a bundle. He raised his hand and waved his sleeve to set off the profound wave, blocking Xiao Yulu's attack as he shouted, "Are you done?" Xiao Yinyan. All of Xiao Yulu's actions were blocked. She was so angry that she shouted Xiao Yinyan's full name through gritted teeth. It's her. She almost killed me. It was her, who nearly caused you to lose your only biological sister in this world. How dare you say that this empress is causing trouble? Although I don't know the details, I know that Luo is not the kind of person who would cause trouble. Xiao Yinyan looked at Xiao Yulu calmly. As the Empyrean fairy of Without Embroiling City, you colluded with people from outside the city to set up a sinister formation like the soul-devouring formation in the city, just to deal with Luo. Do you really think that your actions are right? Your heart is biased towards her, so even my breathing is wrong. Xiao Yulu sneered. Since you're biased towards that slut, don't blame this consort for not giving face to your big brother. As Xiao Yulu's voice fell, the profound energy surrounding her increased explosively once again. The moment Xiao Yulu made her move, a black ray of light surged out of her palms. Yiqing Luo's eyes flashed. This black profound light? It was very similar to the evil aura he sensed in the soul-devouring formation. Could it be, the betrayed Xiao Yulu had some kind of deal with that group of black-robed men? There was no time to think too much. Xiao Yulu's wave of evil attack was already approaching. Yiqing Luo stretched out her hand and pulled Xiao Yinyan, who was about to block in front of her. With a backhand, Yiqing Luo pushed Xiao Yinyan out of the room. Chapter 36:18. Slut. Do you think you can still have yesterday's good luck? When Xiao Yulu saw that Yiqing Luo still wanted to retaliate, anger surged to her head once again. The black profound light burst out from her body like a fairy scattering flowers, spreading in all directions and shooting out. It was obvious that she was full of energy, determined to take Yiqing Luo's life. Xiao Yinyan, who was standing outside the door, was full of shock when he saw Xiao Yulu like this. When did his sister have such a powerful and shocking power? This had obviously broken through the spirit mystic realm and advanced to God. Even he didn't have the confidence to take on Xiao Yulu's attack. No, something was wrong. Xiao Yulu's power had definitely not broken through to the spirit mystic realm before today. Based on Xiao Yulu's character. If Xiao Yulu had already broken through to the spirit mystic realm and become a god, she would definitely flaunt it to let the entire Without Embroiling City know about this. To Xiao Yulu, this twin sister. Even if they didn't spend much time together. Xiao Yinyan could also be sure that Xiao Yulu had always been jealous of him. Jealous that he was the eldest son. Jealous that he was called a genius since young. Because of his existence, she was so intelligent and talented, but all the light was forcibly overshadowed. So, if Xiao Yulu had any areas that could surpass him, It would absolutely be widely publicized. But what was with the power that Xiao Yulu had released now? Xiao Yulu's violent attack was approaching Yiqing Luo. The speed was as fast as lightning, only a trace of afterimage could be seen. But Yiqing Luo seemed to have not noticed it, standing in the same place, holding the glower flame fan tightly, her eyes full of vigilance. Ah Luo. Xiao Yinyan didn't care that he was currently not Xiao Yulu's opponent and immediately rushed forward. The ranks after the Paragon realm were all leaps and bounds in quality, especially when one stepped into the spirit mystic realm and became a godlike cultivator. All the profound energy that was released was accompanied by a shocking aura. Moreover, it was the most difficult to deal with a spirit mystic realm cultivator, because a spirit mystic realm cultivator would be covered with a layer of protective aura, similar to a shield, fighting against a spirit mystic realm cultivator. Unless the spirit mystic realm cultivator's shield was broken. Otherwise, it would have been impossible to injure a spirit shen expert. In other words, it was equivalent to having an extra life compared to other profound practitioners. This was the reason why everyone wanted to become a god. Although Xiao Yinyan couldn't see through Yiqing Luo's profound grade, but he was also clear that Yiqing Luo's power was probably around the level of sage profound. Xiao Yulu, who had already broken through to the divine profound realm. Every counterattack was like striking a rock with an egg. But, just as Xiao Yinyan was about to rush forward and block for Yiqing Luo, Xiao Yinyan only saw a white shadow flash past his eyes. Immediately after, he was thrown out of the door by a huge creature. With a pa sound, the door was tightly shut by the hurricane. Xiao Yinyan was shocked and he pushed away the huge thing that was pouncing on him. When he touched it, it was a piece of soft fur. In front of him, the thing with its thick claws pressing down on his body was actually a snow-white tiger beast. What was going on? In the room. After asking Chi-Chi to stop Xiao Yinyan, Yiqing Luo raised her wrist abruptly. The glower flame fan in her hand instantly left her hand. Her figure moved and her footwork was quickly displayed. Chapter 36:19. The air waves rolled and the profound wave was aggressive. The glower flame fan shot out like a sharp blade, the monstrous red profound light burst out, as if a raging flame had split the heaven and earth. The speed of the glower flame fan was extremely fast. Xiao Yulu's expression congealed, the gaze under the veil was like a malicious poisonous snake, cold and ruthless. This is not the array. Without that lover of yours by your side, do you think you can break through this consort's attack with such insignificant tricks? Her arms shook, the profound energy in her body was like a sharp wind blade, wave after wave vibrating out from her body. The black profound light turned into sharp blades. They were like steel blades that blocked the glowing flame fan. Tight and like a dense big net, it collided with Yiqing Luo's profound energy. Just at this moment, the young lady's lips suddenly curled into a sly sneer. Xiao Yulu's heart trembled when she saw that sneer. She realized something was wrong. But it was too late. Just at the moment when her profound energy and Yiqing Luo's profound energy collided, that glower flame fan which was just blocked, it was like a blazing fire, expanding and surging in an instant. The red of the flames dyed everything in the surroundings red. It also dyed Xiao Yulu's eyes which were hidden under the black veil. It was this dazzling moment. It made Xiao Yulu neglect that glower flame fan which flew out from the raging flames. Following the movement of Yiqing Luo's fingertips, the glower flame fan had already wrapped around Xiao Yulu's face with the force of 1,000 caddies, until Xiao Yulu reacted. The sharp red glow of the glower flame fan had already cut through Xiao Yulu's black veil. Damn it! Xiao Yulu was flustered, her palm wind was swift and fierce, striking towards the glower flame fan. But a delicate hand held the handle of the glower flame fan. The glower flame fan flipped and swept up a hurricane, causing Xiao Yulu's palm wind to fly back. Xiao Yulu was stunned as she quickly raised her head. She saw Yiqing Luo holding the glower flame fan, had already retreated to a relatively safe position, looking at her with a ridiculing smile. The black veil floated, falling beside her feet. Xiao Yulu felt an itch at her feet as she looked down. When he saw the black veil, her pupils suddenly shrank. A deafening scream came out of his mouth. Ah, my face! She suddenly knelt on the ground and frantically reached for her veil, trying to cover her face again. Yiqing Luo's lips curled up as she flicked her fingers. The glowing flame fan stirred up a gust of wind and blew the black veil away. Xiao Yulu's eyes reddened. He was like a trapped beast, his entire body emitting a violent aura. Her scarlet eyes stared venomously at Yiqing Luo as her voice was hoarse. "What on earth do you want?" She had squeezed each word out of her mouth through gritted teeth. Yiqing Luo tilted her head and smiled innocently. "I just wanted to take a look at your ugly face." Saying that it was ugly was already praising Xiao Yulu. The moment the black veil fell to the ground, even Yiqing Luo's scalp turned numb when she saw Xiao Yulu's face. Xiao Yulu's face was even more horrifying than that bunch of lunatics in the underworld palace. Xiao Yulu's entire face didn't seem to have a single intact spot. As though it had been corroded by something, it was full of potholes with rotten flesh hanging on it. It was as horrifying as it could get. As disgusting as it could get. Xiao Yulu had always been concerned about her looks. So much that she couldn't allow herself to see any face that was prettier than hers. Chapter 36:20. It was imaginable how much of a blow this was to Xiao Yulu. It was no wonder that Xiao Yulu claimed to be sick and hid in the room, even covering her face, not even daring to show her eyes. Yiqing Luo smiled as she looked at Xiao Yulu covering her face with both hands, desperately trying to hide her face, and stared at her with venomous eyes. The more was like this. The anger in Xiao Yulu's heart grew. It almost burned Xiao Yulu's rationality. Is this the price to pay for escaping from the devouring of the array core spirit? Yiqing Luo ignored Xiao Yulu's murderous gaze and asked with her pink lips curled. That face obviously had gone through some kind of corrosion to become like this. The only thing Yiqing Luo could think of was the array core spirit. Slut. It's all because of you. It's all because of you. The angrier Xiao Yulu was, the more the corroded flesh on her face wriggled. It looked extremely horrifying. Kai Dai, who was thrown to the corner when she saw this face, she couldn't help but tremble. She screamed in horror. She was so scared that she fainted. This made Xiao Yulu, who was already concerned about her face, to add another fire in her heart. At this moment, the tightly shut door was forcefully smashed open. The door couldn't bear the impact and shattered into sawdust on the ground. A figure rushed in and asked in a worried tone, "Luo, are you all right?" Xiao Yinyan rushed into the room and stared at Yiqing Luo from head to toe. After confirming that Yiqing Luo was not injured, he then looked at Xiao Yulu. When he touched Xiao Yulu's face, Xiao Yinyan's handsome face couldn't help but twitched slightly. Xiao Yulu screamed and quickly rushed back to the inner hall and jumped onto her bed. The gauze curtain slid down and covered Xiao Yulu. Xiao Yinyan was stunned on the spot and hadn't recovered from the shock. Her face was seen by 3 people consecutively. Xiao Yulu completely broke down. She covered herself under the quilt and shouted crazily, "All of you get out! All of you get out!" This sharp ear-piercing scream also woke Xiao Yinyan up. He turned his head stiffly as he looked towards Yiqing Luo's direction. What's going on? After he was locked outside by Yiqing Luo, he was intercepted by a snow-white tiger beast at the entrance. That tiger beast didn't harbor any malice towards him. It should be Yiqing Luo's war pet. However, 2 screams suddenly came from inside the house. Each was sharper than the last. This worried Xiao Yinyan, so he forced his way in. But unexpectedly, he would see his own sister in such a state. Yiqing Luo took a look at Xiao Yulu, who was curled up on the bed, and shrugged her shoulders. It's probably the effect of being swallowed by the array core spirit. She only had her face destroyed, but at least she wasn't devoured by the spirit of the formation eye. She can be considered lucky. Lucky? If you think this is luck, then you're ruining your own face. This empress will let you have this luck. When Xiao Yulu heard Yiqing Luo's words of, "It's easy to talk," she was so infuriated that her heart was trembling. Yiqing Luo smiled, "It's not that I'm sinister and wanted to make use of strangers to achieve my own goal. You only have yourself to blame for being swallowed by the spirit of the formation eye and having your face destroyed." Xiao Yulu was flustered and exasperated as she was about to crawl out of the quilt and berate Yiqing Luo. Before she could speak, Xiao Yinyan interrupted, "Princess Yulu." Chapter 36:21. Without waiting for Xiao Yulu to answer, Yiqing Luo was already shaking her head. The spirit devourer formation's eye spirit is extremely sinister. Her face is corroded by the evil qi, so it's impossible to use profound qi to restore it. If he could really recover. When Xiao Yulu had escaped back to the Qiao residence, she had already used her profound qi to restore her face. For her, face was much more important than one's profound strength. Xiao Yinyan naturally knew how important Xiao Yulu's face was to Xiao Yulu. His brows were tightly knitted and his face was filled with worry. After all, Xiao Yulu was his younger sister, and also the Empyrean fairy of without embroiling city. Xiao Yulu's face became like this. If the news spread to the palace of Ling Long, they would probably blame the Qiao family for not taking good care of the mysterious fairy. It would also drag Di Luo into this. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something and his eyes lit up slightly as he looked at Yiqing Luo. Ah Luo, I have a presumptuous request. His eyes seemed to be glowing, filled with hope. He didn't hide his thoughts at all. This made Yiqing Luo unable to restrain her laughter. She chuckled. You want the beauty cream, right? Xiao Yinyan glanced at Xiao Yulu, who was curled up under the blanket, and sighed. Her face can't be like this. At least, not in without embroiling city. Yiqing Luo raised her brows slightly. If I give it to her, she might not use it. She will. Xiao Yulu, who valued her beauty as much as her life, would never let go of a chance to regain her looks. Yiqing Luo flicked her fingers and a transparent bottle fell into Xiao Yinyan's hand, twice a day, once in the morning and once in the morning. Judging from the condition of the Empyrean fairy's face, this bottle can only last her for 3 days at most. Xiao Yinyan took the bottle and thanked her. Thank you. I only gave it to you because you personally asked for it. You don't need to thank me. Just treat it as me returning the favor. As Yiqing Luo was saying that, her peripheral vision swept towards Xiao Yulu. The shadow cast through the gauze curtain. Yiqing Luo obviously saw it when she took out the beautifying cream. Xiao Yulu's head popped out from under the blanket. Obviously he was tempted. Yiqing Luo's lips curled into an undetectable arc as she turned around and walked out of the room. Whether she uses it or not is her business. I still have things to do at treasure gathering, so I'll head back first. When she reached the entrance, Yiqing Luo stopped in her tracks and took a look at Xiao Yinyan. There's no need to send me off, accompany mysterious maiden well. At the very least, I can't die so easily before the auction ends and the bet between me and her. She chuckled and walked away. Looking at the young girl's elegant back view, Xiao Yinyan slowly retracted his gaze and looked at the transparent bottle in his palm. I won't use that slut's things. She wants to kill this consort. Xiao Yulu yelled at the top of her lungs. You're this consort's big brother. Are you going to help that be *tch kill your only sister? Xiao Yinyan furrowed his brows. After Yiqing Luo left, his expression and emotions became extremely distant and impatient. He walked slowly towards the bed. Xiao Yulu screamed as she retreated. Xiao Yinyan stood by the side of the bed as his voice was indifferent. This is the only thing that can make your face recover completely. If you want to throw it away or smash it, it has nothing to do with me. He lifted the gauze curtain and threw the bottle onto the bed. Anyway, the one whose face is disfigured and disgusting isn't me. These words were indeed a little hurtful. No matter how horrifying it was to see Xiao Yulu's face. Chapter 36-22. However, Xiao Yinyan was straightforward. He used the words disgusting and horrible to describe Xiao Yulu's face. It was like stabbing a knife into Xiao Yulu's heart. Xiao Yulu's heart ached to have such a biased brother. Xiao Yinyan's expression was calm as he looked at the person under the quilt. As your big brother, I've asked for it for you. It's up to you whether you believe me or use it. Then he turned and left Xiao Yulu's room without saying anything else. Xiao Yulu stared blankly at the medicine bottle on the bed. Then the wooden door that Xiao Yinyan had broken was blown up by a gust of wind, blocking the sound of the door opening. Xiao Yulu came to her senses. She curled up under the quilt in a daze. All the hysteria had vanished into thin air. His horrifying face, which was full of rotten flesh, also relaxed. The only 2 intact eyes were filled with pain. What she cared about the most, it was his own face. But now it was destroyed by that formation. She couldn't appear in front of others with such a face. She was the Empyrean fairy of without embroiling city. She was the Empyrean fairy who was respected by everyone. She couldn't ruin everyone's life just because her face was destroyed. Little by little, Xiao Yulu's line of sight shifted to the crystal-clear medicine bottle on the bed. The jade bottle was exquisite and small. The medicine was pink and emitted a colorful, alluring light. Little by little, her hand moved towards the bottle of medicine. This was something that Di Luo, that bitch, had taken out. Would Di Luo, that bitch, really save her? Would this thing really be useful? Xiao Yulu struggled in her heart. On one hand, she wanted to restore her face. She felt that Di Luo owed Xiao Yinyan a favor. Since Xiao Yinyan had asked her personally, Di Luo wouldn't use Xiao Yinyan to harm her. After all, Di Luo owed Xiao Yinyan even more if she dragged him into this. On the other hand, Xiao Yulu didn't want to use Di Luo's thing. She suspected that Di Luo had poisoned the medicine. She wanted to kill her. The anxiety in her heart made Xiao Yulu unable to make a decision. Then her gaze slowly fell on Kai Dai, who had fainted on the ground, her face pale. The other side. Leaving Qiao residence, Yiqing Luo carried Qi and headed directly towards the direction of the gathering treasure. Old Man Tsang said from within the azure dew bracelet, "You want to use the beautifying ointment to help treasure-gathering auction seize the honor of being the best auction house. Now that you're giving the beautifying ointment to Xiao Yulu, aren't you afraid that she'll secretly plot against you? Her face is already like that. How can I just stand by and watch? What's more, I can also return Yin Yen a favor." Yiqing Luo gave an unfathomable smile. "How could you be so kind?" Old Man Tsang expressed his disbelief. "You couldn't have poisoned that bottle of beautifying cream, right?" Yiqing Luo. "Did she look like that kind of person?" Old Man Tsang answered without the slightest hesitation, "Yes." Yiqing Luo's lips twitched as she rolled her eyes. "There's no problem with that bottle of beauty cream, and indeed, there's a chance to cure that corroded face of hers." Old Man Tsang's tone was still suspicious. "Are you secretly plotting something?" Yiqing Luo. In Old Man Tsang's heart, what kind of image did she have? It was rare that she wanted to be a good person, but she had to be suspected in various ways. Chapter 36-23. However, plans couldn't keep up with changes. The current situation saved her the trouble of scheming against Xiao Yulu. Initially, he was discussing with Gu Zixi how to promote the beauty cream. Yiqing Luo immediately thought of Xiao Yulu. His original plan was to cause trouble for Xiao Yulu and take the opportunity to poison her. After Xiao Yulu was poisoned and disfigured, then he arranged for someone to push the beautifying cream to Xiao Yulu. As the Empyrean fairy, Xiao Yulu would definitely want to buy the beauty cream if it was effective. At that time, wouldn't the beautifying cream be promoted? But now, there was no need to go through the trouble of poisoning it. Xiao Yulu had already disfigured herself. However, in the end, it still achieved the final result. Xiao Yulu would definitely visit her again and ask for the beauty cream. The Empyrean maiden wouldn't use the things that you took out, right? Old Man Tsang was very doubtful. "She will." Yiqing Luo replied confidently, "because she cares too much about that face." In any case, his face was already ruined to such a state. Try the beautifying cream. At most, it would just rot a little more flesh. Therefore, Xiao Yulu would definitely use it. But Yiqing Luo guessed that perhaps Xiao Yulu would choose another, more bloody method to use the beautifying ointment. Of course, none of this had much to do with her. The foreplay that she needed to do was all done. What he needed to do now was, he was waiting for the fish to take the bait. For the next few days, Yiqing Luo didn't go anywhere. He stayed in the treasure-gathering hall and refined all kinds of beautifying ointments. It wasn't until the third day that Gu Zixi finished refining all of the medicinal herbs she had gathered that she walked out of her room. These few days, the treasure-gathering grounds were calm and peaceful. City Lord Lu did not come to cause trouble. Xiao Yulu was also quiet and did not cause any trouble. Xiao Yinyan was the only one who came to treasure-gathering hall every day to run errands and receive guests. That's right, customers. Ever since that day when Xiao Yulu injured the citizens, Pei Xing had taken good care of her. The majority of without embroiling city citizens had completely changed their opinion of treasure gathering and Pei Xing. On top of that, Xiao Yinyan, the genius youth, ran to the treasure gathering hall every day. It did attract some citizens to come to visit. However, Gu Zixi did not wake up. Even if treasure gathering hall had customers again, Pei Xing was still not in high spirits. After Yiqing Luo walked out of the room, Pei Xing hurriedly came forward. "Ah Luo, when will little sister wake up?" Yiqing Luo walked to the next room and checked on Gu Zixi condition. Gu Zixi was fine. Perhaps it was because he had exhausted too much of his energy in the soul-devouring formation and the soul-devouring formation's influence on his soul. He felt somewhat fatigued. He should be able to wake up after sleeping for another day or two. However, Pei Xing's face was filled with worry. Yiqing Luo's words suddenly changed and her lips curled up as she teasingly asked, "These few days, did you feed her medicine on time?" "Yes." Pei Xing quickly nodded. Yiqing Luo nodded and raised her slender brows, pretending to be serious. "Are you sure you really fed the medicine into Zixi's mouth and into her body?" Pei Xing nodded vigorously. "I fed her the medicine myself. She's unconscious. Does she know how to swallow? Even if you fed the medicine to the side of her mouth, she shouldn't know how to swallow it right." Yiqing Luo touched her chin. Don't tell me the medicine flowed onto the pillow and you thought she drank it. Chapter 36:24. Yiqing Luo's eyes were filled with ridicule. But her mouth was still pretending to be puzzled. Are you sure? How can you be sure? Pei Xing's face was so red that no other color could be seen. He lowered his head, looking like an innocent young man. Yiqing Luo laughed out loud with a sound. Pei Xing raised his head and saw the ridicule in Yiqing Luo's eyes. He opened his mouth and wanted to reprimand Yiqing Luo. But when the words came to his mouth, he didn't know what to say. His mouth moved, but in the end he kept his mouth shut. His face turned even redder. All right, I won't tease you anymore. Take good care of Zishi. She will either wake up today or tomorrow. Yiqing Luo patted his shoulder and walked out of the room. Innocent young man shouldn't tease too much. He would take it seriously. Like Gu Zishi lying unconscious on the bed. There was no way to feed her medicine or whatever. There was only one way. That was use mouth. The innocent Pei Xing, in order to make Gu Zishi drink the medicine. He could only choose this method. So under Yiqing Luo's teasing, his face turned so red. But this feeding of medicine or whatever had given these two young lovers a push. If she seized the opportunity, soon these two people would no longer be so bashful. Yiqing Luo stretched her waist and walked to the treasure-gathering hall to check on the situation. In the hall, there were 3 citizens standing in front of the counter asking about something. Those 3 were all women with decent looks. Looking at their dressing, they looked like the daughter of a rich family. Xiaoyinyan's lips curled into a smile. Those few women were talking about something. Seeing Yiqing Luo coming out from the inner courtyard, Xiaoyinyan suddenly raised his hand and waved at her. Ah Luo, these customers are here to look for you. Customers? Look for her? After she returned from the Qiao residence, she shut herself in the room to refine beauty ointment. There would be customers coming to look for her? Yiqing Luo blinked and walked over. Xiaoyinyan walked out from behind the counter and said to the 3 women, the things you want were refined by this Miss D. Right now, the Treasures Exchange Hall really doesn't have any stock. If you want, you can ask Miss D. When those 3 ladies heard Xiaoyinyan's words, their gazes towards Yiqing Luo instantly changed from the enmity which the ladies had when facing a beauty to an earnest and fawning look. The speed at which his face changed was simply too fast. The 3 ladies were like pets who had seen their owner. Their eyes sparkled as they crowded towards Yiqing Luo. The scent of women's fragrant powder assaulted his nostrils. Yiqing Luo's hands were hugged by the lady. Yiqing Luo, wait a minute. If you have something to say, then say it nicely. Why are you getting all touchy? She didn't want the feeling of hugging beauties on both sides and leaning on beauties. Yiqing Luo asked Xiaoyinyan with her eyes, what's going on? Xiaoyinyan looked at the helpless young lady who was surrounded by ladies and couldn't help but moved his thin lips as he laughed softly. They just want to find out from you about the effects of the beauty ointment and the price. They want to know if it's as miraculous as the rumors say. Rumors? She seemed like she hadn't started to promote the beauty ointment? Where did the rumors come from? Right. I heard that a few days ago, Boss Pei's sister took a bottle of beauty ointment and gave it to the Blood Mercenary Group's mercenaries to use. I heard from the mercenaries over at Blood Mercenary Group that as long as that beauty ointment is smeared on the face, the skin will become smooth and tender. Chapter 36:25. I heard that. Those female mercenaries from Blood Mercenary Group, after applying the beauty cream, there were no traces on their faces at all. Totally can't tell that he's a rough man who runs around on missions. Is the beauty cream really that magical? Miss D, can you take out the beautifying cream for us to see? Let us see the effect. The 3 women were blabbering away in his ear. It was so noisy that Yiqing Luo's brain started to jump. But she had at least heard from the lady's words. She heard a few key words. Gu Zishi gave the beauty cream to the Blood Mercenary Group? After the Blood Mercenary Group's mercenaries used it, there was a miraculous effect? Hence the Blood Mercenary Group helped to promote the beauty cream? Or perhaps Gu Zishi had previously requested the Blood Mercenary Group's leader, Su Qingbing, to make use of Blood Mercenary Group's reputation to promote the beauty cream? Miss D, why aren't you saying anything? Is the beauty cream real or not? There are so many sisters outside waiting for our reply. Is it true or not? Give me an answer. The lady saw Yiqing Luo not replying and started blabbering again. Yiqing Luo's head was hurting from all the noise as she raised her hand and stopped their voices. Then she pushed away the ladies who were sticking to her. "Since you're here to ask, you should believe in the beauty cream's effect, isn't that so?" The ladies were stunned. The news came from the blood mercenary group. Basically it couldn't be fake. But the minute they thought that this beauty cream was from the treasures exchange hall, everyone's heart started to beat like a drum. After all, 5 years ago, there was an incident where the treasures exchange hall lied to their customers. And now it was the auction period. The treasures exchange hall was the same as 5 years ago, doing something which caused an uproar in the city. They were all very worried. In the end, the treasures exchange hall was dug out, so it was all fake. Although in the recent period, the citizens' impression towards the treasures exchange hall had changed slightly. But after all, the incident 5 years ago had really happened and really existed. Even if Pei Xing wanted to clear his name, he couldn't. Moreover, these ladies were different from the citizens who had received the treasures exchange hall's favor. He still had some doubts about treasure gathering. Yiqing Luo looked at the 3 ladies' expressions and knew what they were thinking. She curled her lips and said indifferently, "We do have beauty ointment." The eyes of the women immediately lit up a little. Their eyes were filled with hope and anticipation. "Can we see some beauty cream? Can I have a look at the effects of the beauty cream?" The woman asked. Yiqing Luo raised her brows. "It's not impossible, but..." She had yet to finish her words. Suddenly, an extremely arrogant voice came from the door. "How many beautifying creams does the treasure gathering hall have? This empress wants all of them." Following that, Xiao Yulu, who was dressed in a white veil and had a black veil over her face, walked into the treasure gathering hall under the escort of her guards. At this moment, half of Xiao Yulu's face was covered by a black veil, revealing only her eyes and forehead. Yiqing Luo took a look. The skin above Xiao Yulu's forehead had already recovered, and it was fair and tender. Princess Yulu." The minute the 3 ladies saw Xiao Yulu, they immediately bowed respectfully. Xiao Yulu arrogantly raised her head, not even bothering to take a look at them as she spoke out arrogantly. "This beauty cream, this empress wants all of it, all of you scram." The 3 ladies were stunned. "Princess Yulu, this..." Chapter 36-26. The 3 women were so frightened that they took a step back. Their eyes were filled with reverence for Xiao Yulu. They lowered their heads and grabbed each other's hands, preparing to leave. Before they could even lift their feet, the 3 women were blocked by a slender figure. Yiqing Luo stood in front of the trio, separating them from Xiao Yulu. Yiqing Luo met Xiao Yulu's eyes with a smile which didn't look like a smile, as her smile was filled with ridicule. It's rare for mysterious maiden to come to the gathering of treasures, not to create trouble but to do business. Cut the crap. Take out the beautifying cream, no matter how many crystal stones you want, I will give it to you. Xiao Yulu was rather infuriated by Yiqing Luo's glare. How could she not tell that Yiqing Luo was ridiculing her? However, he thought of the beautifying cream. In the end, Xiao Yulu swallowed her anger. Yiqing Luo smiled sweetly. "I know mysterious fairy is rich and overbearing, not worried about crystal stones. What do you want?" Hearing the meaning behind Yiqing Luo's words, Xiao Yulu frowned as she asked in displeasure. Yiqing Luo's eyes curved into crescents as she smiled. "The beauty ointment is the auction item that we are going to present to the auction." Xiao Yulu's expression froze. "What do you mean?" Yiqing Luo smiled innocently. "It's exactly the literal meaning. Don't tell me mysterious maiden doesn't understand?" Xiao Yulu's eyes were gloomy, and a wisp of killing intent flashed between her brows. His fingers under his sleeves were clenched into fists. In the face of this invisible pressure, Yiqing Luo expressed that she didn't feel anything. "Mysterious fairy need not be anxious. The day after tomorrow is the auction." Xiao Yulu was furious. Her body trembled uncontrollably. "This consort wants the beautifying cream right now. Give me the beautifying ointment, and I'll give you a higher price than the one at the auction." Yiqing Luo raised her finger as she shook it. Mysterious maiden has personally used the beauty cream's effect, so she should be very clear about it. Adding on to the fact that there's the blood mercenary group's side who have personally experimented and promoted it, what do you think? If I were to put it up for auction, how high a price would my beauty cream fetch? Xiao Yulu's face darkened. When the 3 women behind him heard this, their hearts couldn't help but jump. Princess Yulu personally used the beautifying cream? And he still wanted to buy all the beautifying cream? And he didn't hesitate to spend a lot of crystal stones? Didn't this mean that the beautifying cream was really useful? Otherwise, why would Palace Master Yulu, who had a grudge with Treasure Gathering Palace, personally come to purchase the beauty cream? Hearing that Yiqing Luo was going to put up the beautifying cream at the auction, the thoughts of the three women became active again. If it was now. They certainly did not dare to fight with Xiao Yulu for the beauty cream. However, when it came to the auction, that was the auction. If you are worried about offending someone, you can also choose to bid anonymously. Yiqing Luo saw that the effect had been achieved and smiled at Xiao Yulu. Don't stare at me, this is after all a collaboration between me and Treasure Gathering. We've already reported it to the auction house, so there's no way to sell it to you privately. Xiao Yulu was just about to say that she would sell a bottle to her first, but upon hearing Yiqing Luo's words, these words were stuck in her throat. She gritted her teeth. How many bottles did Treasure Gathering report? It's very difficult to refine the beautifying ointment. These are my treasures that I've been keeping for a long time. Yiqing Luo said smilingly, I only have 10 bottles. 10 bottles? Xiao Yulu subconsciously touched her own face, as though she was considering whether 10 bottles of beautifying cream was able to restore her face completely. Chapter 36-27. How could Xiao Yulu not tell that Yiqing Luo was intentionally ridiculing her? If she really wanted the beauty bomb, she would have to go to the hospital. Which meant she had to use a high price to bid for the beauty cream at the auction. That meant that she would use her crystal stones to help the treasure house to get the honor of the best trading house. That meant that she would make herself lose the bet with Yiqing Luo. Xiao Yulu's face turned pale instantly. She clenched her fists tightly as she stared at Yiqing Luo with hatred. You did it on purpose? Xiao Yulu finally understood at this moment. Ever since she confirmed the efficacy of the beauty cream, she had been wondering why Di Luo would give it to her so easily. Not to mention, on account of Xiao Yinyan. If Di Luo really wasn't willing. Even if Xiao Yinyan knelt on the ground, Di Luo wouldn't be moved. However, Di Luo had easily taken out the skin beautifying ointment that day at the Qiao mansion. From that time onwards, Di Luo had planned everything. Di Luo had guessed correctly that she would take any risk for her face. So, she intentionally gave the beauty cream to her. After she tasted the sweetness, she made use of her to bid for the beauty cream at the auction. Because, looking at the entire without embroiling city, the person who needed the beauty cream the most was only her. And she had to have it. Di Luo wanted her to slap her own mouth, using her crystal stones to make her lose the bet between them. What a vicious scheme. Xiao Yulu's eyes turned red from the glare. Her venomous gaze was like a sharp thorn, piercing into Yiqing Luo's heart. Facing such a gaze, Yiqing Luo's expression was calm, without any change in her emotions. Instead, she met Xiao Yulu's gaze, her pink lips curled upwards as she smiled sweetly. Oh? Since you said I did it on purpose, then. When the auction is over, wouldn't it be better if Mysterious Maiden doesn't bid? Xiao Yulu was flustered. While she and Yiqing Luo had such a huge conflict, she even lowered herself to personally come to the treasure house to buy the beauty cream from Yiqing Luo. Yiqing Luo actually dared to rub her nose in. The angrier she got, the more anxious she became. The smile on Yiqing Luo's face became even more radiant. Seeing Mysterious Maiden's determined look towards the facial beauty ointment, looks like the effect of the facial beauty ointment is really not bad at all. I hope that by then the value of the facial beauty ointment will be able to go up another level in the auction. Xiao Yulu raised her finger and pointed at Yiqing Luo with a trembling finger. Her chest heaved up and down, vibrating with force. She stared at Yiqing Luo for some time before she pointed towards Yiqing Luo's direction and pointed hard in the air. Good. Well done. Di Luo, this empress would like to see if you can deliver the beauty bomb to the auction master in one piece during the auction the day after tomorrow. Xiao Yulu spat out each word through gritted teeth. It was a powerful and majestic pressure. It kept on eroding Yiqing Luo. Yiqing Luo tilted her head as her long and narrow eyes rose upwards, staring at Xiao Yulu with a smile which didn't look like a smile. Xiao Yulu was about to leave. But she heard Yiqing Luo giggling. Ioyo, I'm so scared. Saying that, Yiqing Luo walked towards Xiao Yinyan's direction. Eldest young master Xiao, is Mysterious Maiden considered to be threatening me? If something happens to me before the bet between us ends, can it be blamed on her? Chapter 36-28. TSK by then? There will be a lot of people paying attention to Mysterious Fairy. Yiqing Luo's eyebrows curved into a smile, looking extremely lively and alluring. Using another method to become famous is not a bad idea. Xiao Yinyan's expression sunk slightly, his brows wrinkled tightly. His gaze was deep as he stared at Xiao Yulu, as without embroiling city's mysterious fairy, your every word and action represents without embroiling city. Since you want to make this bet with Aluo, then under the condition that Aluo doesn't violate the rules, you cannot use your own safety to threaten Aluo. Otherwise, no matter what happens to Aluo as mysterious fairy, you have to bear the responsibility. Xiao Yulu's eyes were bloodshot. She snorted loudly and flung her sleeves down heavily. Turning around, she led the guards of the large sect and left the treasure-gathering hall. After the 10 over of them left the narrow hall, fresh air finally returned to the lobby of the treasures-gathering hall. Miss D. Behind her, a lady's careful call was heard. Yiqing Luo then remembered that there were 3 other ladies hiding behind her. She immediately moved away and turned around to look behind her. She saw one of the ladies staring at her without blinking. Miss D. You said you will put the beauty ointment in the auction, is that true? Yiqing Luo nodded. Of course it's true. But you saw Mysterious Fairy's attitude earlier. If she's not willing to give you the beauty ointment, I'm afraid you won't be able to bid for it. As the eldest daughter of the Qiao family, the #1 aristocratic family in the Earth realm, so the mysterious fairy who came out from Linglong Palace, Xiao Yulu had no lack of crystal stones. To Xiao Yulu, as long as the problem could be solved with crystal stones, then it wasn't a problem. So as long as Xiao Yulu really wanted the beauty ointment, it was enough to exchange for 10 bottles of beauty ointment. The ladies looked at each other in dismay. Their expressions were a little ugly. Yiqing Luo looked at them with a smile. Thank you for your support for the beauty ointment. I heard that you have a bunch of sisters waiting for the news of the beauty ointment, right? Yes. The young mistresses nodded. Yiqing Luo pondered deeply for a moment and said, how about this, after the auction ends, I'll strive to refine a few more bottles of beauty ointment and by then we'll auction it off at the treasure gathering hall. All of you can come and take part. The eyes of the ladies lit up. Really? Yiqing Luo nodded with a smile. After discussing a few more sentences about the beautifying cream with the ladies, Yiqing Luo sent them off. The treasures exchange hall fell into a rare moment of silence. Xiao Yinyan poured a cup of warm tea and passed it to Yiqing Luo, telling Princess Yulu about the hidden card of the treasure gathering so early. Aren't you worried that she will come up with some countermeasures to counter the beauty cream? On the contrary, I'm afraid that she won't target me. Yiqing Luo smiled evilly. Xiao Yinyan raised an eyebrow. Does that mean you already had a plan? Yiqing Luo touched her chin. Although towards Mysterious Maiden, I don't understand her as well as you, but I'm very clear that she's not someone who can swallow her grievances. She had suffered quite a lot of grievances and suffered quite a lot from me, so how would she possibly let me take part in the auction smoothly? Don't tell me, she will really make a move on you before the auction? Xiao Yinyan's expression congealed. Chapter 36-29. What will she do? Xiao Yinyan asked in puzzlement. Why did it feel like Di Luo knew his sister better than him? Yiqing Luo raised her eyebrows and smiled meaningfully. No matter what she will do, I am sure she will use a very stupid way to deal with the treasure exchange. Xiao Yinyan. Actually, it was not that Xiao Yulu was stupid but Di Luo was too smart. But looking at Yiqing Luo's calm and composed look, she obviously had a plan in her heart. He didn't need to worry about her. As expected, everything was as Yiqing Luo had predicted. Xiao Yulu made her move. The beauty cream, under the publicity of the blood mercenary group, had been treated as a peerless treasure by countless young ladies. Furthermore, during the day at the treasures gathering exchange, the 3 young ladies had exaggerated the matters of the treasures gathering exchange to the group of young ladies. As a result, the group of young ladies yearned for the skin beautifying cream even more. If the beauty cream was really put up for auction, the price would absolutely be heaven-defying. It could be said that the treasure exchange hall could really use the beauty cream to fight a beautiful turnaround. So, Xiao Yulu wanted the beauty cream but wasn't willing to lose the bet with Yiqing Luo. Then she could only let Yiqing Luo's beauty cream lose its luster before the auction. Hence, it took almost half a day's time, which was the afternoon after Xiao Yulu left the treasure exchange hall. The entire without embroiling city started to spread a rumor. The treasure-gathering trading company used the reputation of the bloody mercenary group to purposely promote the so-called beauty ointment. They wanted to exaggerate the effects of the beauty ointment before the auction to trick the citizens into bidding for the beauty ointment at a high price. This rumor didn't fly for long. Another rumor continued to spread. What? You want to ask why the treasure exchange hall did this? And even borrowed the reputation of the Blood Mercenary Group to promote the beauty cream? Weren't they afraid that the Blood Mercenary Group would blame them and directly destroy their treasure exchange hall? No, no, no. How could the treasure exchange hall be afraid? The treasure exchange hall did this entirely to obtain the honor of the best auction hall in the auction. Because the lady named Di Luo who took out the beauty cream had a bet with Without Embroiling City's mysterious maiden. She didn't want to lose, so she resorted to all means. You want to ask, what evidence is there to prove that the Treasures Exchange Hall is lying to the citizens? Because 5 years ago, the Treasures Exchange Hall had used the same method. You don't believe me? Ask any elderly citizen in Without Embroiling City, and they would all know what sort of infuriating incident had happened in the Treasure Exchange Hall that had been all the rage for a while 5 years ago. The more the rumors spread, the more exaggerated they became and the harder it was to listen to them. In the end, it turned into a treasure-gathering transaction. They wanted to use the old tricks from 5 years ago to deceive the citizens and ignore the strict fairness of the auction. When these rumors and slanders reached Pei Sheng's ears, Pei Sheng was stunned. It all happened that night. At that time, Pei Sheng was going to the river to fetch water. She was stopped by a few women and asked about the beauty cream. Only then did she hear the news. Especially when it involved what happened 5 years ago. Pei Sheng's expression changed immediately. He threw down the pole that was used to fetch water and rushed back to the Treasure Exchange Hall. This action. It was also spread by some people. As a result, Pei Sheng flew into a rage out of humiliation and tacitly admitted the truth of the rumor. Chapter 3630. Pei Sheng returned to treasure gathering. Yiqing Luo was by the counter, setting up some small items. Seeing that Pei Sheng had returned, she looked up and glanced at him. Didn't you go to fetch water for Zishi to wipe her body? Why did he come back empty-handed? Why do you look so pale? Have you heard the rumors that the citizens outside are discussing? Pei Sheng thought about how the citizens around him, who had been smiling at him in a friendly manner, were now pointing at him with looks of disgust and disgust. Anger surged in his heart. I heard. Yiqing Luo's expression was indifferent. Do you mind? Of course I care. Pei Sheng clenched his fists. 5 years ago, it was clearly the Zhongqing trading house that framed Gathering Bao and the trading house. Gathering Bao has never lied to anyone. It's useless for you to say these words to me. Yiqing Luo put down the item in her hands as she looked at him calmly. Of course, even if you run out to explain to anyone, it's useless. Pei Sheng's anxiety and Yiqing Luo's calmness formed a sharp contrast. Facing Yiqing Luo's calm and indifferent attitude, Pei Sheng's clenched fists loosened, but he couldn't help but clench them again. He repeated this a few times. His entire person seemed to lose all strength and he slumped down in dejection. Luo. Treasure conglomeration has finally taken a turn for the better with great difficulty. The day after tomorrow is the grand auction, but now there's such a rumor. It was not just treasure gathering's reputation that was tarnished. Most importantly, Luo will lose the bet. If he really handed Luo over to Princess Yulu and let her do whatever she wanted with him, Princess Yulu would never let Luo leave alive. I'm sorry. Luo, it's all because of me, it's all because of my incompetence. Pei Sheng sat down on the chair weakly, covering his face with his hands. Yiqing Luo pursed her lips as she looked at Pei Sheng quietly for some time before she spoke out calmly. This isn't your fault, the person Xiao Yulu is targeting is me. She paused and walked out from behind the counter. However, you're right about one thing. Sheng, you are indeed incompetent. Her straightforwardness caused Pei Sheng's body to stiffen. Yiqing Luo continued, if you really want to protect the Treasures Exchange Hall, if you really want to protect Zishi, then you should straighten your back and not be at a loss of what to do the minute something happens, blaming yourself in various ways, then not doing anything at all, just immersing yourself in your decadent emotions. Pei Sheng's hand slowly slid down from his face. His handsome face was filled with pain. His eyes were also a little red. Yiqing Luo walked to his side, her gaze was still as calm as usual. Sheng, you must remember that you are a man with an indomitable spirit. You must use your own 2 hands to create unlimited possibilities. So what if Xiao Yulu spreads rumors? So what if they damage the reputation of the Treasures Trading House? Don't tell me that if you continue to wallow in self-pity, the problem will be solved? Yiqing Luo's successive explosive strikes made Pei Sheng's entire person stunned till he turned stiff. He looked at Yiqing Luo in a daze. Following Yiqing Luo's words, his reddened eyes started to change. His stiff body slowly moved. A pair of pure black bright eyes, seemed to be filled with starlight. He clenched his fists as he stood up abruptly. Luo, I'm sorry? I know. Looking at the man straightened his back, his tall figure appeared extremely skinny. Luo sighed softly. The reason why Pei Sheng's character was weak. It was also because of the environment. You're tuning in to this Sword Dance in the Vast Sky YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.